In contrast to Bitcoin, which is displaying incredulity and pain, gold is displaying happiness. When one comes to an end, the other kicks off. Hello, and welcome to the XRP Army when you return to the CryptoZX channel. We are grateful for all the affection. Let us take a look at the current situation of XRP as we go closer and closer to the morning of Sunday. Over the course of the past hour, we have witnessed a multitude of fascinating occurrences. This is due to the fact that only 1 hour ago, prior to my recording this update for you all, we witnessed the price of Bitcoin falling below $107,000. In addition, you should know that we actually got down to $106,000, and then we watched this green candle go up to 108 in an instant. Right now, we are going to have a conversation with you guys about everything of that matters. Due to the fact that CME futures are closed on weekends, there is more manipulation than usual. Keep in mind that we are in the weekend. To be more exact, if you are looking at everything that has happened over the course of the past hour, you will notice that the majority of the momentum is coming from this direction. The price of XRP has decreased by approximately 0.7% on the USD side of things and by approximately 1% overall. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, its valuation is $140.1 billion, and its trading volume over the course of 24 hours is approximately $2.26 billion. As is customary, I would want to make it clear that the content on this channel does not constitute financial advice. If you are considering investing in cryptocurrency, you should always conduct your own research and due diligence. Check out this for yourself. There are still 12 days remaining in October, despite the fact that Bitcoin's price has dropped by 6% so far. In which direction are we going? Also, you should know that something that we kind of discussed yesterday in our update for XRP is that people have a tendency to concentrate more on the 6%, but they forget that 12 days is more than enough time for the market to do that much in such a short period of time. So, within these 12 days, you might actually witness a lot of things taking place. It is important that you keep that in mind, so please do not forget it. I know there's a lot of people thinking that the bull market is finished, this and that, yada, 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 but they are not factoring in certain key. In this month alone, there are significant events that are taking place, which, of course, I believe do have an influence on traditional markets as well as the cryptocurrency area. You are aware of these occurrences. Nevertheless, have a look at this. You are aware that this is in connection with what we have just discussed, and you are aware that Arthur Hayes has stated that there is no longer a 4-year cycle. The New World Order is taking place in a protracted cycle. I believe that it will come to an end when the Trump administration is no longer in power, which, once again, is between the years 2027 and 2028. In other words, what he is essentially referring to is the fact that we do not truly observe a bear market. This is going to be the only upward cycle that we see. Let me reiterate that, from a historical perspective, we have been discussing this topic on the channel on a daily basis. In point of fact, we are getting closer, and the bull market ought to become extinct at some point in the not-too-distant future. Be that as it may, I continue to believe that we are now seeing a bull market. On the other hand, he is essentially stating that because of the regulations that are being implemented by the Trump administration and the institutional interest that is being brought in, we are going to see, under the Trump administration, possibly a supercycle. So, we have been discussing the supercycle quite a bit on the channel in the past, and although it is true that it is still speculation at the moment, the question is, are we actually going to experience a supercycle? When are we going to become aware of whether or not this is a supercycle? No one truly knows until the next year since, as I mentioned before, it is somewhere around that time, either any time this year or early January or February for my timeline. In the event that the market continues to expand and we observe bullish momentum in the year 2026, and we hear nice things coming in and being talked about from the administration of President Trump, and Trump, possibly bringing in some exciting news for cryptocurrency and your cryptocurrency companies, then the market will continue to extend. It's possible that you are aware that this is the beginning of the super cycle, but as of right now, we don't really know. I believe that we need a little bit more time, and I believe that the following year is going to be the time that we kind of find out whether or not that is really going to be the case, or whether or not history is going to repeat itself. One more time, if you have been accumulating over the past 2 or 3 years, I am certain that you are aware of the fact that you are up. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who are still up on a lot of coins, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana XRP, to mention just a few. Actually, there is a great deal. Therefore, if that is the case and you do not wish to take the chance because, of course, there is a risk involved, what you should know is that there is no assurance that this is going to be a super cycle. Therefore, check to see that your exit plans are activated. I would appreciate it if you could share your personal thoughts on that with me down below. However, have a look at this Bitcoin magic lines, which are still remaining in a strong upward trend. These individuals who claim that it is overhired should not be believed. And once more, this is according to Gordon, his personal perspective, but he is pretty much showing us what he is trying to show us. In addition to the 200 daily moving average, you also have the 365 and 200 weekly moving averages, and he is essentially discussing how the lines are connected. You should know that we are still more than that essential range at this point. This is Quentin. In the event that you do not follow Quentin, shudder to Quentin. You should make sure that you are following. This is Quentin. He stated that, as you are aware, a great number of bullish signs did not reach this cycle, and that none of them have flashed. That is something that we need to take into consideration, but it is also related to what we talked about the other night about how memes have become more popular. You are aware that retail sucked up a significant amount of liquidity, and it is something that we want to take into consideration. Please let me know in the comments whether you agree with that. Take a look at this 452 million liquidation flush that has occurred in the period of 24 hours. You should know that after a week of significant long liquidation, more short positions are being wiped out today, and that is pretty much the entirety of the situation. Once you are aware of the retracement that we did observe the day before, but once more we will return to the charts in a little while, but before we do so, have a look at this global M2 that is completely off the charts. What do you guys believe about the possibility that Bitcoin may close this gap or plan accordingly? As stated previously, there is a positive association between the supply of M2 and Bitcoin in general. Nevertheless, at the moment, we are witnessing significant manipulation. Again, I am certain that a great number of people are aware of it, but we also want to take into consideration the government shutdown and the tariff discussion. Although it is undeniable that we are being manipulated, I have a strong hunch that Bitcoin is going to follow suit. Even though you are aware of the M2 money supply, you need have a look at the Ripple business model. This model is based on the assumption that the demand for XRP would cause its price to increase, and of course, since their acquisition and how they are, attempting to develop a major plan, treasury for XRP, this topic has been the subject of a lot of discussion in recent times. On the other hand, you are aware that this is essentially related to the additional PL ledger, provided that you have an understanding of how the extra PL ledger operates and that you are aware of the role that the extra P token plays, in addition to taking into account the Ripple net. There are some fascinating things to keep in mind once more. Your personal ideas should be shared with me in the comments section, and you should also take a look at what Zoom has to say. This is pretty much a demonstration of the XRP $1 weekly on the weekly period that he is giving you guys. Furthermore, you can see that this consolidation has taken place, and we have not truly left this box yet. In addition, he is essentially demonstrating what took place the last time we were in this location, which is now in this location. That being said, are we set to witness the next wave? Once more, be aware.